Pablo Escobar wasn't just one of history's most notorious criminals, he was also the richest. At the time of his death, his net worth had skyrocketed to $30 billion. That's about $64 billion adjusted for inflation. As founder and leader of the Medellin Cartel, Escobar wiped out the competition and created a multi-billion-dollar narcotics empire. In the 1980s and early 90s, the Medellin Cartel had a near monopoly on the narcotics trade in the U.S. Escobar controlled the trafficking routes and the supply, which meant he had more money than he knew what to do with. He used his wealth to expand his business and buy whatever his heart desired. Before becoming El Padrino, Pablo Escobar cut his teeth as a low-level thug in Medellin's criminal underworld. He spent his youth running scams, and in the early 70s, he transitioned to more serious crimes like kidnapping. He allegedly earned $100,000 by holding a Medellin executive for ransom. This was his first taste of real money, but the cash really started to roll in when he entered the narcotics trade and started working for a local drug smuggler. By 22, Escobar was worth $1 million, and by 26, he was worth $3 million. Escobar's greed knew no bounds, and he decided he needed to branch out on his own. In 1975, Escobar developed his own narcotics operation by flying planes along smuggling routes between Colombia, Panama, and the United States. This was just the beginning for Escobar's Medellin Cartel. He wanted to expand as quickly as possible and did so by any means necessary. The cartel seized the operation of a rival drug trafficker who was likely dispatched at the orders of Escobar. As demand for narcotics in the United States grew, the Medellin Cartel's operation expanded. Escobar and his crew moved from small planes like the Piper PA-18 Super Cub to massive cargo planes like the Douglas DC-6. Escobar's wealth and notoriety reached new heights in the 1980s. The Medellin Cartel set up lucrative new smuggling routes in California, Puerto Rico, and Florida. Escobar was making so much money that he had to purchase a Learjet just to move his money around. Expenses were piling up, but not enough to affect profit margins. The cartel reportedly spent $1,000 on rubber bands each week because there was so much cash. Escobar continued to expand his narcotics empire by purchasing land on Norman's Cay. He purchased the land with help of criminal financer Robert Vesco. Along with Medellin Cartel co-founder Carlos Leder, Escobar created a transshipment point on the Bahamian Island. After purchasing the land, Escobar got to work building a massive operation. He built a 1-kilometer airstrip, a harbor, a hotel, houses, and even a refrigerated warehouse to store all the cartel's narcotics. The island quickly became an important stopover on the cartel's most prominent smuggling route, and profits reached all-time highs. At the height of its power, the Medellin Cartel was earning $70 million a day. That's $149.5 million adjusted for inflation. Escobar used the profits to purchase Hacienda Nápoles in Antioquia. The lavish estate, which was valued at $2.23 million in 2006, included a Spanish colonial house, a sculpture park, and a zoo filled with exotic birds and animals. When journalists questioned Escobar about his drug smuggling business, he remarked, "You bribe someone here, you bribe someone there, and you pay a friendly banker to help you bring the money back." His operation was no secret, but many in Colombia actually held Escobar in high regard. He attempted to cultivate a Robin Hood-esque image by building housing projects and football fields. He helped the poor, but at the same time, cartel-related crime was running rampant in Colombia. Escobar soon became the #1 target of law enforcement, both at home and abroad. The Medellin Cartel's record profits continued in the early 1990s, but government officials in both the US and Colombia were putting more pressure on Escobar. Fearing extradition, Escobar agreed to turn himself in, but he had a list of demands. In 1991, Colombian President Cesar Gaviria negotiated an extremely controversial surrender treaty with Escobar. Escobar agreed to cease all criminal activity as long as he received a reduced sentence and preferential treatment while in prison. Escobar's incarceration was not really a punishment at all. He was locked up in La Catedral, which was a luxurious prison that Escobar designed himself. The facility included a nightclub, sauna, waterfall, and soccer field. There were also telephones, computers, and fax machines, so Escobar could basically run his operation from behind bars. However, violence soon broke out at La Catedral, so Escobar had to be moved to a more secure prison. Unsurprisingly, Escobar escaped during the transfer, which led to a massive manhunt. The operation was run by the Colombian government and reportedly aided by U.S. officials and rival drug traffickers. Escobar's Medellin hideout was discovered on December 2, 1993 by the search block. A chase and shootout ensued as Escobar tried to escape, but he was cornered on the roof and fatally shot. The end of Escobar meant the end of the Medellin Cartel, and the narcotics empire that Escobar started soon collapsed. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching.